Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Hermit card. I feel like lately you've been maybe a little bit like less social, a little bit less engaged with things, drama, people, events in the external world. I feel like you've been sort of keeping to yourself. You've been really introspective. You've been trying to focus on your internal work and your development and your self-care and all this sort of stuff, you know. Which is sort of different because usually I feel like you're pretty outgoing and pretty extroverted. I think, though, that there's something going on with you right now that's sort of calling you back out of hermit mode yet again. It's almost as if you try to sort of take some time for yourself, and every time you do, it seems like something is kind of pulling you back to the maybe the entanglements, maybe the drama, that sort of thing in your external life. Maybe family, friends. Sort of feels like it might be leaning into a work thing, but we'll see. We're going to look at some more cards here. All right, let's see what else we've got going on. We've got that Hermit energy. And we've got some more Earth energy. We've got a Queen of Pentacles, Two of Wands. Yeah, see, there's the, a Tower. Okay. All right. I feel like this is not the first time that this has happened, okay? I think the last Tower kind of led to hermit mode, but then there's still this underlying conflict. But now we do have the Lover's card. Now we have the Princess of Wands. Interesting, okay. Over here we've got an Eight of Wands. A lot of fire energy now. Three of Swords. Your Power card, the Lust or Strength card. And that's the card that rules the sign of Leo. But this is in the position of what we don't want, so that's very interesting. And of course, we end with more fire. Yes, an Ace of Wands. So we've got a lot of fiery energy here that I think is really, you're trying to keep it in check, okay? Because something is going on that sort of needs your attention, needs your solution, really. But it's something I think that you're sort of reluctant to engage with. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the Factor Infinite and Unknown. We're going to set it down over here with Mr. Ed, the Tiny Horse, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. All right, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, I encourage you, put it down in the comments. Okay, let's do it together. Let's take this opportunity to exercise our intuition. Okay, all right, let's take a look around the room. Yeah, we've got major, 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 and major. The major arcana cards here is kind of like the idea of withdrawing in order to not blow up this sort of relationship that you have. Okay, so and it's very difficult for you to sort of control yourself because I feel like you kind of want to just like yell at the people and tell them like what's what, you know. It feels like it might be a work thing because of the Queen of Pentacles here, but the Lover's card makes it feel too like it's something that means a lot to you, something you really care about, so you're trying to be very careful about how you handle it, you know. You can't just sort of let loose because that might destroy the relationship, the working relationship, the vibe, you know. So we've got our majors. We've got really a lot of fire. Of course, Leo, that's a fire sign, and the Tower is a fiery martial sort of card, so a lot of fire energy, right? We don't have any water. We don't have any air, except for the Three of Swords. We didn't forget about it. We've got a little bit of Earth energy here. Okay, so it's with the air energy in the position of the environment, we've got to try to find a way to communicate with everybody involved. It seems like there might be a couple of other people. Maybe it's one other person. Maybe it's a couple. It doesn't seem like a large group, but it does seem like there's, one or two other people involved. And it feels like we have to find a way to communicate with the other entities involved in such a way that we can get what we want or what we believe to be the right thing, while also sort of not severing the relationship. You know what I mean? We have to figure out a subtle kind of strategic way to do this. And the fire energy really is sort of too much. It seems like you're sort of getting really heated about this, that it's something that makes you very kind of active, maybe a little angry, frustrated. And so the hermit mode really makes sense. Okay, the hermit right there in the beginning. I think that there's been sort of a withdrawal from this issue. In order for you maybe to sort of calm down and let the emotions settle before re-engaging. Yeah. Especially with the tower leading into the hermit makes sense, because I feel like this was either an argument that has happened, or it's sort of like this big blow up that's waiting to happen. Okay, so maybe to avoid this, we sort of went a little bit hermit mode. It could be that this is not the first time that there's been this sort of conflict that we feel down here with the Two of Wands. So hermit mode really does make sense, but I feel like you are in some way the leader here. In some way you're in charge of something, right? Where maybe this is you being in charge of yourself or something, but I feel like there's an outcome that you really want to see manifest, and you have to kind of be the one to make it happen. Okay. Even if it's just maybe you and a coworker or something, it could be you and a family member, but your role in this is very significant. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles here might be representing another person. This might be sort of kind of somebody that feels that they know what's best for everybody. This might be someone who's like, let's say, been at the company for a lot longer than you have. Yeah. And so they kind of feel as if they're not going to take advice from somebody that hasn't really been around as long. Maybe it's even someone older than you, and they feel that they're not going to take any sort of recommendation from somebody younger than them, right? But I feel like this is sort of a very sort of passive-aggressive type of energy with the Queen of Pentacles right now, especially surrounded by all the fire on all sides here. But I feel like the two of you really want the same thing. There is really a common goal here. And it's just a matter of communicating with them in a way that really they can't say no to. That they will realize that this really is the best sort of option for whatever the outcome is going to be. Maybe the two of you are partners in a business. Maybe you're collaborating on some creative project. Maybe you work together. Maybe maybe you live together. Maybe it's a family thing. Maybe it's a spouse. It could be. The Lover's card does not always mean romance. It does not always mean that it's a spouse. Okay. But I think what it does mean is that the common goal is this sort of partnership, that you're both dedicated to the same things, that you want the same outcome. But it's about trying to get on the same page. And I don't know why there's such a conflict here, except that maybe there's a pride thing happening on one side or the other. Maybe it's an ego thing. Again, maybe that person feels as if they shouldn't have to take any sort of criticism or advice or listen to anybody, that maybe is younger than them or hasn't been through the same things that they've been through or whatever it is. But the goal is the same, right? And I think that this is really, it feels as if the two of you can get on the same page, then that collaborative energy is really taking things in a new direction, in a new maybe creative direction. If it's a business, then this is going to be really some innovation. But that too, it's just the two of you just can't seem to get along. There's some sort of personality clash. And the Two of Wands down here is sort of like you both are used to working independently, having your own space, your own offices, right? Suddenly they like throw you in a room together and say you've got to figure out how to work together, you know? And it's just maybe something that where you're not used to, you and this other person. I feel like it's kind of one person, really. You're not really used to it. There's a difference of personality. There is this, I feel like there's an age difference that sort of plays into it a little bit. But it's the idea that you're both out of your element, basically put into a room together and say, this is your new office. You've got to share it. You've got to work together. You're a team now, you know. And I feel like you're a team player for sure, but it's almost as if you're a team player if the other person's a team player too. So it's kind of hard for you, I feel like, to go into this situation and really try to walk on eggshells around somebody in order to sort of ease into that partnership. It feels right away that they're not being so open, and so that sort of closes you off too. That you're not going to really keep trying and sort of go the extra mile for somebody who's kind of already like resistant to you. And that makes total sense, right? But I think you're trying to either avoid another tower event, or there's been a bit of a conflict already. I kind of think with the tower back here, I kind of feel like there was some major disruption in this situation. And it could really be that the two of you were doing just fine separately, and then suddenly there was some sort of upheaval. Someone had the great idea to like restructure the company. And now suddenly you and this person are having to work like side by side. Yeah. And so it doesn't mean that something broke down necessarily. The tower here could be saying that something really like got shaken up. You know, that there was a major disruption of the usual routine, the kind of steady and level life, you know. Suddenly there's this big spike. There's this big tower event, you know. That something's different now. Something got restructured or reorganized. And this could be that there was already some conflict between the two of you, that there was maybe a history of just kind of not getting along with this person. Yeah. But the Lover's card is really the interesting thing here, because it's kind of like, it's the sore thumb in this whole reading. It's saying, this is what it's all about. This is that union. This is that commitment. This is that inspiration. This is that ideal. And so we see the separation of forces here with the Two of Wands, but then the coming together of forces up here with the Lover's card. So it kind of makes me feel like the ultimate wish that we have is, that we work together, that we can form this bond with this person and do what we need to do to get the outcome we want, that Ace of Wands, right? To sort of to be working together as one entity, one force, you know, rather than sort of butting heads and clashing, that we are now unified and we're moving forward in the same direction. So that's the goal, even though you're kind of like frustrated and angry. And I think that's why there's the hermit mode, because we're just trying to calm down, let the fire kind of die down a little bit, and figure out how we need to approach this, what kind of strategy we need. We certainly don't need the Princess of Wands, because this is sort of our reaction to people. You know, they might say something a little passive aggressive, and then you just let them have it, not with physical violence, but you know, you give it right back to them, you know, verbally. It's kind of like this is you trying not to be so eye for an eye. Yeah. Because this is a very impulsive, a very reactionary card. And so it's best when somebody's sort of maybe saying some underhanded things, or kind of mumbling but under their breath, or being just kind of outwardly aggressive or passive aggressive. This card is reminding you that it's better to just walk away, go a little hermit mode, take a little break, whatever you can do to get away from the situation in order to calm this fire down, so that you don't do something reactionary or impulsive that sort of keeps all of this fire energy down here. This is the fire underneath the two of you, underneath the earth energy. We just have this sort of, this fire that's like, it's always there. Yeah. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent now. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free, and it doesn't cost anything. And it supports the channel. I really do appreciate that. So let's take a look here with the Eight of Wands. I think in some ways you want nothing more than a release from this situation. Even if it means a tower event, we just have this big blow up, and yeah, you're probably out of a job and you can go, but at least that's a release of this energy. Okay, the Eight of Wands usually is talking about energy that is sort of being stuffed into a ball. And it just keeps growing and getting stronger and more intense and more intense and more intense. It's got to go somewhere, right? And the best feeling in the world would just be that release, right? This is kind of telling me that you've got a little bit of the jazz hands. You got a little bit of this anxiety that's just like, if you stay around this person for too long, this energy is eventually going to not be contained, okay? So it has to go somewhere. So we're almost kind of withdrawing from the situation in order to find some sort of outlet for this. And I think that this is important because it's not enough for you to just call in sick one day and just stay home and just sort of stew about it. Because then you're going to go to work the next day and you're going to be even more pissed off than you were, So if we take some time and we do this hermit mode, we really have to find some way to sort of release this frustration, to relieve the tension. Go to the gym, go to your boxing class or your kickboxing class or whatever. Get that energy out in some way, right? Through, physical activity, intentional movement, I think is really a good idea here. This is a lot of fire energy right now for you, And this, I think, also is sort of the thought that you would be happier anywhere else but here. This is an energy that doesn't want to stay here but doesn't really know where to go. And so that creates this sort of tension and anxiety. We got to clear our heads. We got to clear this fire energy out so you can really get an assessment of what you need to do, because your mental energy, in your mind, Three of Swords, thinking about this situation, I think a lot. I think you're thinking about it more than you need to, more than you want to. And the Three of Swords is always about the memory. So I think you're remembering, you're reliving, you're going over in your head, you're kind of dwelling on a lot of those things that this person has ever sort of said or done. And it's not helping. It's making you more and more opposed to that person. These two positions in the dove and serpent spread are very connected. Okay. The more you think about it, the more pissed off you get. The more pissed off you get, the more you think about it. It's a never-ending loop. Okay. But I think we clear our minds here through the release of this tension, through some sort of physical activity, each according to their means, of course. Some sort of intentional movement, breathing exercises, a walk, a jog, a run, intense, heavy lifting, whatever you do, right? Whatever is your thing. Because we really want to figure out the strategy to get this. These two cards are connected, but then these two cards are connected too. How do we use our mental energy now, not to just kind of keep ourselves angry, but to bring about the outcome that we want, to forge this unity? Okay, you got to give them an offer they can't refuse here. You've got to find an approach. Once you've cleared your mind and sort of cleared your anxiety and your frustration, figuring out a way to get this partnership going in the right way, to get to this outcome. Okay, to get there, we've got to, of course, cross this lust or strength card. And this is in the position of the unwanted energy, the difficulty, the obstacle, the fear, worry, concern. This is a card about you controlling yourself. This is a card about you swallowing your pride even, right? For the sake of the greater good in your life, you've got to get a handle on, really, it kind of feels like the Princess of Wands here, that the sort of reaction, I'm trying to think of an example here that doesn't use, like physical examples. It's very reactionary, okay? And it's kind of, if somebody does something to you, then you sort of instantly respond. And it's part of your nature. And it is us, being in defense of ourselves, right? So it's not to say that we have to allow this person to treat us in some sort of a negative way, right? But rather it's about responding to a situation with intention, with strategy, not just reacting against something, sort of instinctively. It's about trying to find that sort of that higher discernment where we can say, okay, I know how I want to react, but I know how I'm going to respond in order to get the outcome I want. Okay, and that takes a lot of self-control. And that's not easy to do, right? And that's why this card, it is your power card. It's about you controlling your power. It's about you learning to turn the dial down, turn the volume down, turn the burner on the stove down. Instead of, we don't need to crank it up to high. It doesn't need to go super high right now. It wants to. Let's turn it down to a little medium low maybe, and you can respond with confidence and with assertiveness, and intensity, but in a way that is more strategic, right? Because that Ace of Wands is what we want. This is the unity, for one thing. We're taking this 2 here and we're making it into a unity. But this is the new direction that the two of you are going to have to go. Now, I don't know if this is a work thing. This very well could be, a friend. It could be a business partner. It could be a romantic partner. It could be really, really anything, okay, or anyone. They may or may not be an earth sign person, okay? But the unity that you achieve with this person really is enabling you to follow this path that there's a reason why the two of you are kind of in the room together, okay? Because there's something that you need to accomplish together. And whether this is a twin flame thing or whether this is just someone, a coworker or a supervisor even at work, I feel like there's a need to sort of adjust our approach to this person. Yeah. Let's take a look at the mystery card. Yeah. Let's see what's going on with this thing. I would like to see either some really good earth energy or honestly some water energy. I would like to see that things are sort of developing in a different way, that some of this fire has calmed down a little bit. Yeah, and we're getting some of that earth energy. Maybe before this we should do a botanical inspiration oracle card. I feel like we need a little something to just sort of calm us down, We need a little bit of relief from some of this fire energy. Let's see what we have. The Garden Heliotrope, Devotion and Dreams Fulfilled. Oop, that didn't work. The Devotion and Dreams Fulfilled. It says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. So really, we have to keep that as the highest sort of goal. Like there is something in this situation that you need, okay? And there are these higher goals that you have. It's important to keep those in mind when we're dealing with someone like this or some energy like this. It feels like there's just this sort of innate incompatibility between you and this person. How do you reconcile that? How do you make this work? It feels to me like walking away is really not the answer. It is an answer, right? It is one of several possibilities. We see that with the Eight of Wands. You could. But is that you getting closer to fulfilling that dream? Or is that you kind of, almost saying, I can't handle this, I'm out of here? Yeah. Let's see about the mystery card. The Emperor. Okay, this is good. Because the Emperor, while it is more fire energy, this is somebody with very serious control over that fire energy. It's almost as if we have this lust or strength card. We see the need for control, and now we've got the control. The Emperor really is perfect because it's somebody who has a handle on all of this. All of this fire energy is sort of under their command now. Now they can direct it however they need to. This is a real boss, and kind of. And now it kind of reminds me of The Godfather, making them offer they can't refuse. This is somebody now who has sort of turned the tables in a way. It's almost as if through your strategy and your self-control and your channeling and focusing of this fire energy that you've become the shot caller here. You've become the boss. And even if they're technically your supervisor or they have that energy of superiority. Like I said, it feels like they're older than you or they've been at the company longer. And so they feel like they're kind of in charge, even though maybe like on paper they're not, This is you finding a way to really turn the tables here and to be the one that is really calling the shots here, even if the other person doesn't quite realize it. Does that make sense? So I feel that this is really good energy. This is very commanding energy. And I think this is perfect because it is not sort of this, it's not raw, it's not wild, it's not uncontrolled, it's very sort of disciplined and very focused, right? It gets results here. So this is very, very good. And we're going to do an extended reading if you want to stick around. There's a link up top, there's one down below. New readings for Leo are on Tuesdays, bonus readings on Saturdays. 6 a.m. Chicago time. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. And leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.